100%. We've definitely taken to it, and Drew definitely has been more vocal in his leadership style. Of course, you want that from QB1. You know, all teams go as QB1 goes. All offenses go as QB1 goes. So just to see that from Drew, especially stepping into a somewhat unfair situation, just being so young, with all the expectations and hype on his shoulders, he's taken to it well. You know, he's never let a situation rattle him, and I think this year you guys are going to see that. So.
On the vocal leadership front, Coach Losey talks back in June, whatever the flight was, about needing to find that vocal leadership, just leaders in general during summer camp. Who are some of the guys who was one of them who stood out in that regard during that 6-week stretch?
Of course, young Drew Alar, and then you got Nicholas Dawkins, new center. Of course, he's been doing a tremendous job with the offensive line and what they're doing. I mean, myself, of course, young Zane Duran, he's been doing an incredible job, and to see that from a young guy, he's doing great. And I'm sure there's a couple more guys that I'm missing right now, but those are the few that definitely popped into my mind. So.
Dvon, what do you like about Nick Dawkins as a center? You got to replace Hunter Norzad. He's an all-league player last year. Center's a big position.
Yes, sir.
What have you noticed about him, or what do you think he brings to the offense?
I mean, just his intelligence and his approach to the game. You know, his athletic ability going from east to west, north to south, and then just his knowledge of ball. That's going to be the thing that sets him apart. You know, we have tremendous players who have come from Penn State who are tremendous athletes on the offensive front. You know, guys like Hunter, of course, and then you got Juice Scruggs, who's now the center for Houston. So it's just like we've had generations of great offensive linemen. I think Dawkins fits that mold in terms of how he approaches the game, his attention to detail. That's dope. So I'm very excited. And then his vocal leadership up front. That's what we need at center.
And as a sixth-year player, what do you think you can do maybe better that you weren't able to do in your first 3 or 4 or 5 years? What can be changed? What can be different about you this year? You think coming back?
Honestly, just my play recognition, just trusting my eyes, trusting myself. You know, in years past, I understood seeing things, but I haven't really trusted myself to play it out the way it should have been played. And I think that'll be the biggest change this year. I've learned to trust myself beyond anything. So trusting myself, that's probably the biggest thing.
Vaughn, you've seen a lot of good teams like ranked in the top 12 for Penn State in your time. You get to an expanded playoff format, you guys fall right into the possibility of maybe hosting a playoff game. Can you imagine what that would look like late December in Beaver Stadium? Can you let your mind go there?
Honestly, the only thing that I think would come close to it in my mind would be that 2019 whiteout against Michigan, when it was so loud that they couldn't even get a playoff. That's what I'm imagining that playoff atmosphere is going to be like it in Beaver Stadium if it ever gets to that. So that's the only thing that I can compare to that I think comes close.
Speak just how you are at this point.
Yeah.
Do you ever reflect on like how long this has been and how much you've changed in that time, and how are you different even from a personal standpoint since you got Penn State?
I mean, just my perspective is completely different. You know, being here for so long, it's one thing to be a young guy coming into the situation, coming into college football, seeing how things play out and thinking, like, how am I going to fit in? But now it's just like, how can I stand out? You know what I mean? That's the biggest transition for me in terms of who I am and how I've changed my thought process throughout my college career from my first year to my 6 years.
How did Julian kind of apply pressure coming from Ohio State? How's the offense kind of, stepped up and made things hard for you guys?
I mean, Julian is such an incredible player, and just being from Ohio State, having that perspective as to how they operated things over there, and then just bringing all the things that he thinks would help the team from his perspective it's just incredible. We're lucky to have him, and he's been doing an incredible job all summer, all spring. So.
Obviously that's a big rival. When you switch sides like that, what's the rivalry like? Are you guys kind of selling him on Penn State as far as, you don't like Ohio State, or is he kind of like torn in between because he gets on the side?
I mean, he's here now, so he doesn't play for Ohio State anymore, so I think that's where his head is at. He's completely focused and completely bought in to what we're doing here at Penn State.
That whiteout game, November 9th against Washington. First drive of the game, Penn State's on defense. What song are you playing to get that stadium bumping?
That what is that? The carnival song? That go, 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 go.
Travis Scott.
What? And then, to hear the stadium. Oh, what? To hear that? Oh my goodness, it was crazy. Yeah, that's the song.
How many times have you watched that Obama clip from 2019?
I watch it all the time. That was my first ever whiteout, so that's committed to memory. I think about that a lot, for sure.
Appreciate it, man.
Dvon,
Yep.
you guys lose 3 starting cornerbacks in the secondary to the draft, and then obviously everything else. What have the rest of the guys like Cam Miller and then the 2 transfers coming in done to kind of establish that secondary role again?
I mean, they've just continued the tradition. You know, our cornerbacks have always been extremely talented at all facets of the game. So just their work ethic, every single day, they're always doing something extra. Whether it's something little or something big, it's always something extra after every single workout, every single day. So I think that their dedication to their craft is what's going to take them and set them apart, much like corners in the past. You know what I mean? Like the Joey Porters, Tariq Castlefield, all those guys. You know what I mean? I think that's what's going to get them to that next stage that everybody's expecting to be.
In the linebacking room, Tony Rojas has put on a lot of weight, it seems like. What has his impact been on this defense so far?
I mean, you got to think, it's such a young talented guy that just brings up the level of competition in the room. You know, that pushes everybody in there to be a little bit better than they were yesterday, because you have somebody right on your heels. So we're big on next play mentality. So it's going to be he's doing an incredible job of bringing up that room.
Can you tell me about the impact Jalen has on your defense, Jalen Reed?
Yeah. Honestly, just his versatility is so impactful, just because of who he is as a person as well. And then just what he brings on the field is just incredible. So his role on the team is just to be himself. Like that's all he needs to bring to help the defense, to help the team be exactly who we want to be.
So when you fire up the NCAA game and he's not in there, how disappointed were you?
Not disappointed at all. We have other great safeties. We have KJ Winston, of course, Zaki Wheatley. We have a lot of great safeties in the game. So I'm a little sad my dog's not in the game, but never disappointed.
He said teammates were hassling him for not being in because it's
not
like
for sure.
a bot who's playing.
Yeah, like
instead of Jalen.
Like he's getting subbed out, but once they get tired, it's like, all right, I have to put this guy in. Like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
that's what.
Speaking of that video game, you tweeted the day NCAA came out that you had beef with EA Sports. What went into that? What went into that post?
Yeah, because I was a little upset. They made me a little extra wide and a little extra mustache. It was kind of a lot. So that's why I said. And then they made my speed 67, which was crazy. But that's neither here nor there. It's gonna go up in the next couple weeks.
Your overall rating